Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain Hunting Blonde, and today I am bringing to you a requested video, which is some storage tips and tricks for me storing my luxury bags. So without further ado, let's dive in. I have 5 tips and tricks, and they're just kind of for anyone who is a handbag lover who has a lot of bags and is not always using every bag they have, so they put some of them in storage, like the one you can see behind my Palm Springs mini right there. So I wanted to kind of illustrate my tips and tricks by using a bag, but this first tip or trick is not necessarily bag related, and it is know where you live. And so you're thinking, okay, that's weird. But what I mean by that is, where are your bags being stored? Are you living somewhere that has high humidity? Are you storing them somewhere that's like a dry heat? Are you storing them somewhere that gets really cold? Are they in a dark closet? Are they in a lit room? Are they in shelves? Like, where are you storing your bags? Because each of these next 4 tips and tricks that I'm going to talk about really is dependent on that factor. Because for people, for example, who have a more humid climate, storing your bags in their dust bag and in their box is definitely not the right idea, because they're just going to build up humidity, and that can cause sticky pockets and different linings to deteriorate. So tip number 1 is know where you're storing your bags and what kind of environment your bags are in. Unfortunately, I'd say for most of us, we do not have a climate controlled room that we are storing all our bags in, even though that would be my ideal situation. I would also love to have cabinets that have doors on them, so that I could leave more of my bags out of their dust bags. But at the moment, with moving, I am not going to buy that sort of cabinet to fit in my apartment when they might not fit in my room in my house. So that's number 1. Number 2, dust bags. So now we're going to dive into the bag that I have here. So dust bag. This is my Dior Bobby bag, which is very cute. This is the medium-sized Dior Bobby, which I did reveal on this channel. I got it for a steal, but that's another story. So I do keep my Bobby bag in his dust bag. The environment that my bags are in is they are exposed to a little sunlight. There is a window in this room. I do keep the shades down almost continually and closed, just because I don't want to be exposing my bags to more sunlight. I also keep it in the dust bag because, like I said, I don't have any sort of closures on these cabinets. I have other bags on more of a wire rack. So I choose to keep my bags in dust bags because I don't want dust all over them. So those are 2 things that are really big for me. So for me, yes, I do keep my bags in my dust bags. But like I said, if you are in a different environment, a dust bag might not be right for your bag. And so just keep that in mind. If you're in somewhere that's really humid, that dust bag could be trapping in more humidity. I think though, for most of us, if we are not using the bag every day, putting it in its dust bag is a good idea. Tip number 3 is stuffing. So this bag is a pretty hard boxed leather. It has a lot of structure on its own, but in order to preserve that structure, I do make sure to stuff the bag. So open this. You will see in here that I do have the strap in here. So if there's a removable strap, I do take it off and put it in the bag. And then I also have a little bit of air paper in here. So this bag doesn't need a ton of air paper. This is the stuff that comes free with your Amazon orders. But I do stuff it in here to make sure that I'm keeping the shape of the bag. One really important thing when doing this is to make sure that you're not overstuffing your bag, because you can also create shape issues that way. So you just want to make sure that you are keeping something that just allows your bag easily to close and is keeping the bag stuffed so it keeps its shape. Not everyone uses air paper, and that's totally fine. I would just say whatever you're using with your bag is, 1, not super heavy. So again, if it somehow moves a little bit, it's not leaning against part of the bag and misshapen, causing the bag to get misshapen. And 2, that whatever you're stuffing in your bag is not colored, so the color does not leach onto the leather or the interior. I don't know if that would for sure happen with everything, but I just think of when putting in a white SLG in a Louis Vuitton bag that has the red interior. I know that can cause color issues, so I just don't want to deal with that. So I would say air paper, white tissue paper, or a white light t-shirt, rag, scarf, something like that, I think is a really good way to stuff your bag. And you know, with the air paper, a lot of people just throw that out, so you are recycling it. Though with air paper, eventually it will lose its air on the inside. I don't know why, it just does that. So you do need to kind of check on your bags, which does lead me to 4, which is check on your bags. If you're like me, you have a lot of bags and you're not using every one every day. Obviously, I can't carry this many bags at once. That'd be quite a sight. So I say check on your bags at least every 6 months. If you can do it even more than that, great. You just want to make sure that, you know, the air paper is staying stuffed. You know, it's in its dust bag. It's not getting sunlight that you didn't realize it was getting. It's not getting dust all over it. It's just good to check on your bags. We do put a lot of money into our bags, so why not make sure that they are staying okay and that they are, you know, keeping their money, because the better you store your bags, the more you're going to get if you do decide to resell them, because they'll be in better condition. The better condition, the more money you're going to get. It's just a simple fact. And lastly, but not least, is the space where you're storing it. So as you can see, I have on this shelf 2 bags, and there's definitely enough room for both of them. I know sometimes we don't have a lot of space to store things, but you do not want your bags to be stacked on top of each other, to be pressed up against each other. That just leads to bags becoming misshapen. Sometimes bags transfer color onto each other. You know, different hardware will rub off on different bags. It's just something you don't want. Like I said, we spend a lot of money on these bags, even if it's, you know, not as high-end luxury. Like, we are still spending our hard-earned money on these bags. You do not want to ruin them, and you don't want that to happen just because you weren't careful where you stored a bag. So I would say make sure that wherever you're storing that bag, rack, shelves, whatever, that there's enough space for your bags. And you know, sometimes you might have to stack them. Just be careful of what you're stacking, right? You don't want to stack a super big bag on top of this little Dior Bobby bag, because that is definitely going to flatten this. It's going to cause it to become misshapen. That's just not what you want. If you do have limited space, I would say that one thing you could consider is storing the Dior Bobby in something that is bigger than it. So say you have like a mid-sized tote, you could easily put the Bobby almost as stuffing in the tote in its dust bag, because it should be fine. You know, stuff like that, kind of like layering your bags almost, that I know a lot of people do when they travel. If you have small storage space, you could do that as well. I think it's a way to just get a little creative. Just make sure you're not, you know, layering them on top of each other. Like, I sometimes see people's bag shelf photos and I'm just like, OMG, like, that is, you are literally just like destroying thousands of dollars worth of bags, and that causes me so much stress. Like, you've put a lot of money into these bags, just like try to create a little bit of space for them. If you do have an issue where you need to stack, I would say put them in their boxes, which I know is not ideal, but put them in their boxes and then just check on them and rotate them and make sure they're, you know, getting air. It is a leather, most of them, your bags are probably leather, and that is a material that does kind of need to breathe. It's just something smart to be doing. And at least if they're stacked in their boxes, the box is protecting whatever is in it so that it is not getting squished. So those are my 5 tips and tricks for storing your luxury bags. If you have any more, please let me know down below. I think we can use as many tips and tricks as possible because, like I said, we put a lot of our hard-earned money into these bags, and we might as well keep them in as good a shape as possible so that if we do decide to resell them, we are getting their maximum value. If you want to see more tips and tricks, please make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and my blog, all of which are linked down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to follow me and hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is 3 times a week right now. Oops, 3. Guys, I know 3. This is 4. 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.